Hey, welcome back, everyone. My name is Dom Giordano, and this is Proudly Dom Time, our debut show. In studio with me is State Senator Steve Sweeney, who's the president of the Senate in New Jersey. We'll be joined momentarily by Jim Lee, who's the president of Susquehanna Polling. He came on my show, 6 weeks ago, when the Philadelphia Inquirer told us that, hey, forget about Pennsylvania. It's a blue state now. 12-point lead for President Obama against Mitt Romney. And in my heart of hearts, I see the collar counties and the rest of the state. There's no way that that's the case. Now, Jim Lee, who's with us, had a poll out yesterday that had it in a flat-footed tie. So let's go to Jim Lee and include Senator Steve Sweeney in studio with us. Hey, Jim Lee, welcome in. Thanks for joining us in another medium tonight.
Hey, you're welcome, Dom. Sorry I couldn't be with you in person, but I'm happy to be with you.
Well, Jim, Senator Sweeney, I think, is in agreement. I mean, he is a moderate Democrat, and he realized there's no way that Pennsylvania was going to be, what was it that McCain lost by 10.3%, I think. Tell me what your polling indicated right up until yesterday. Where's Pennsylvania in Jim Lee's mind tonight?
A toss-up, a virtual toss-up. The poll that was commissioned by the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review that was released yesterday, we have it at 47-47, and I think that really suggests to me turnout will be the difference tomorrow. I think in Obama's favor, he got a little bit of a bounce from the coverage of Hurricane Sandy. His numbers seem to tick up slightly in comparison to some polling we had done a few weeks ago. Conversely, Romney looked like he had even further solidified the Republican vote in our poll. He's now close to 90% already, and only 83% of Democrats in this most recent poll will commit to the president on the head-to-head. That leaves about 20% of Democrats that still haven't committed to moving the president's direction, and that's the critical formula for Romney to win tomorrow, is if he can peel off about 1 in 5 Democrats, he could pull this victory out tomorrow.
Now, the two issues, Steve Sweeney, are intensity, that's turnout, and the independents. Tell me, you see the Obama ground game as superior to this intensity that Republicans apparently have. Why? Tell viewers, what's the ground game do? What are they going to be doing tomorrow?
Honestly, it's door-to-door, pulling the votes out, and that's why Obama, I feel, will win. President Obama will win Pennsylvania. Even as a toss-up, our ground game, the Democrat ground game is worth 5 points on Election Day. I'm a product of it. My first election, I was down 3 points. Election morning, I won by 2. So, you know, when you hear about 83% of Democrats with Obama and that there's that drop-off, President Obama will have 89 to 90% of the Democrats when Election Day comes, even as close as it is today. So it's us getting the Democrats to stick with the president and them needing to get Democrats to cross over. And that's not going to happen to the numbers that they need to win the election.
What do you say about that, Jim Lee, in Pennsylvania? What would make you believe there's any shot, because you have a flat-footed tie of these Democrats crossing over?
Well, I guess a couple of things. If Romney wins tomorrow, he's going to have to overperform John McCain in Western Pennsylvania, and I think you're likely to see some very, very record-breaking turnout in the West.
Due to coal, due to the president's war on coal, right?
Absolutely. The 12th congressional district, the old John Murtha seat, is a great example. We have Romney winning there 15 points in a poll for the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Even before the first presidential debate, McCain carried that district by 10. So Romney's already overperforming in the West. In the Southeast, I think what's been remarkable in terms of the polling we've done in legislative races, and we've surveyed 50 state, House, and Senate districts in the past 3 months. No other firm can say that. And the drop-off for the president in suburban Philadelphia, particularly the more affluent districts, is absolutely astounding. And I think that's why Romney is in a very good position to win back Chester and Bucks County tomorrow and do remarkably well in Montgomery County.
All right, Jimmy, hold that thought for a minute, because I have a guy that I have a lot of faith in as a quintessential moderate Democrat in Steve Sweeney. And When I look at what you stand for, et cetera, I mean, do you really think that President Obama, that's what's happening out there, and I'm sure you're talking to various union people in the West, that they do perceive this as a war on coal, as I do, and that's a way of life and an economy?
Well, I think that, sometimes people make issues more than what they are. I don't think there's a war on coal, to be honest with you personally. We've talked about clean coal, cleaning up our environment. Union people are not going to abandon Obama. They're not going to, because the other guy actually has been very aggressive against labor. He's actually picked fights with organized labor and made his stands.
The 47% comment, you think holds?
Well, not even the 47% comment. That's part of it. I'm one of the 47%ers in my mind. So, that's part of it. And some of it actually is his stance has been so anti-labor. So, you have anti-coal and then you have anti-labor. And union coal miners don't want to be working in non-union coal mines. I know Tom Smith's a big non-union coal guy.
Right.
He's not employing the union guys. So there, you got to boil it down even deeper and deeper. There's a split there too, because coal's going to be around. No, coal's not going away. If we can clean it up, if we can use it, it's better. But as far as I just don't see him winning election day. Like I said, the polling doesn't surprise me. It's even at all. Pennsylvania's been a battleground state. You have a Republican governor, Republican controlled legislature. But I really believe on election day that the president's ground operation is going to overperform, and you're going to see numbers that you haven't seen out of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
Let's bring in Jim Lee again. I want to have you guys, too, talk about what I saw last night out in Bucks County, Jim Lee. I saw these women under 40 with kids. Astounding numbers out of the 30,000 were there. We've heard about the war on women. I know the president of Planned Parenthood was in Bucks County yesterday with some others talking about that. They drew like 11 or 12 people. The war on women voters in Pennsylvania, how significant, and what do you see them doing?
I think Romney's closed the gap. There's always been a historical gender gap, and I think the president leads by about 8 points with female voters. But I don't believe that suburban moms believe that they should fear a Romney presidency. I think they are smarter than what they're being given credit for. This candidate, Mitt Romney, and I'm not defending him. Look, the polling I think is accurate. It's not just us showing that. Other firms are showing that, or else both those campaigns wouldn't be here. What I'm suggesting is Romney's closed the gap in suburban Philadelphia because women don't fear Romney presidency like maybe they would fear a Rick Santorum presidency. They know he's a moderate. They know he was governor of a state with an 87% Democratic legislature. They're smart enough to know this election's about the economy. They care about the same things men care about, which is jobs, national security, fiscal deficits under control. These are fiscally conservative voters, don't forget.
That's what I saw last night. Hey, Jim Lee, Jim, thank you so much. Thanks for bringing that side to it. And Steve Sweeney, pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for joining us. And next time, maybe we'll both have fleeces. Next week, I think you're going to be on with us again, and we're going to talk more about the aftermath of the storm and your efforts to be commended. And we're trying to help the Red Cross tonight, too. Viewers will see that. Coming up, 2 first-time voters here on Dom Time. Temple students, imagine. Can you think back to that first-time vote? Maybe you'd like to give me a call at 866-472-8868 and tell us who you voted for the first time that you voted. Steve Sweeney, do you remember?
No.
Don't remember that first-time vote. It was probably a Republican, that's why. All right, more of Dom Time continues after this break.